Hello and welcome to my very first Lucky 13 guest. It's Annie Warner, who is a friend of mine, also a client. Also, she is phenomenal. I want to tell you everything about her. She is a life and business coach. She has a whole lawyer business. She built that up. She's been doing that for 300 years. Also, she is an amazing human. She is a mom. She is a wife. She's also Citizen of the Year, if I remember correctly, in Cincinnati in 2025. So
Mhm.
there's a lot to love about Annie, and I'm really excited to introduce you. And Lucky 13 starts now. You guys, Annie can bend spoons. Okay, that's what I have to say. That's exactly it. So some of you are like, did she say bend spoons? And I want to say yes, there are some people who are able to connect with physical energies. And I guess I want to make a joke about being a lawyer and negotiation skills.
Okay.
Negotiate with 3D things, but I'm not one of them. And I want you to know that I try to force it on a regular basis. Annie, can you share what you noticed when you first tried to bend a spoon and then did it?
It didn't happen on the first time. So just to be clear, it took a little bit of energetic alignment and focus and learned from the lovely Martha Beck and the other people on our trip. But I really felt it happen the first time in a very energetic way where all of a sudden it was like a burst of like joyful energy. And it was because I was in a state of kind of play or just kind of you're supposed to concentrate on things that make you burst with love, basically. And that's what happened. And when I did it, I had this burst of energy the first time where I really had like a motion response to it and kind of like laughed and got teary eyed at the same time. It was one of those moments. And so then I, of course, had to go and practice a bunch of times to make sure I hadn't just had a fluke of bending metal. And when you
Obviously.
say bend it, what it means is you're not forcing it. You're not putting a lot of pressure on it. It's like it just kind of happens with very light pressure. Um, so just to be clear, people get confused about that. Okay,
It's
okay.
literally our spoon from Safari. I have
Oh, you
two.
have it in your drawer.
Just so everyone's clear, I'm like, listen, I'm very happy to exert my full pressure attempting to bend it. And that is not what we're talking about. We were talking
Right.
about partnership with them.
Yes, in collaboration with the spoon and the molecules and the energy of the spoon, and that's what you have to connect with. But I practiced since, and I go to Target sometimes and buy like a 10 pack or a 6 pack of spoons. And I bent other metal, like I bent a fork, I bent a knife. It's not like it's limited to the spoon, but it's kind of fun. But when I taught my kids how to do it, I tried to. Only one of my kids could kind of do it, and it was my most physically and empathetic kid, like the one that like is real in touch with his feelings and real in touch with his physicality. And the others were blocking it with their brains, and so you can't do that. You got to be in touch with your body. So happy
This
to
is
teach others how to do it sometime, but it's just kind of a fun little I don't want to say party trick because
It's a
it's
party trick, which is why I'm not allowed to do it. It's why the gifts of the universe were like, don't give it to Serena. She will ruin all silver. She'll be like, did you know I can bend a spoon? As it's screaming to complete strangers, which is why I think I won't be allowed to do it until I have more emotional maturity. Something that you said that's really interesting and completely relevant was you talked about how the mind will block being able to connect energetically like that. And I think that's interesting because we have had very surface conversations about past life regression. And the only past life regression I've been able to access was a complete accident, as in I wasn't trying. It happened during a nap. And all of a sudden, I was like, absolutely, very clearly not in a dream, in a nap anymore, but having reliving something. And so it's interesting because I've like gone to workshops because I'm like, I want to do past life regression. And then that has not been your experience. Will you share?
Sure. I went to one workshop
Right.
and I had no context for even what I was walking into, which I think is something that helped me in this situation. I
Mhm.
did not even really know what was going to happen, how it was done, or had never read about it at all.
Mhm.
Like I had no context for any of it. Went in, did the workshop where, it was kind of a guided meditation. And I ended up having an experience that was quite intense and quite impactful where I met 3 past lives, had physical responses. And one was just a woman in her 20s in a city. Something happened to her, I think, because I got freaked out in the regression and ended up running down the path towards my next life, or one of them, being caught up with an earth mother figure, almost like a witch, which made sense, who calmed me down. And then that one passed me on to the last one, which was really interesting, and in a building where it was like a school or a library, and it was a past life of a man who was named Jacques and had basically knowledge, and he'd sadness, quite sad. And I felt that very much in the regression, that he was sad. He was hiding a little bit from me. And then when he presented himself, it was kind of just a exchange of sadness. And I asked my guides who showed up. I mean, this thing stunned me. Like, this is nothing I had experienced before. I had not even tried to experience this. I had no idea that this was kind of how it went. And the guides who were there basically explained that he was sad because he knew too much. And it was so sad to me. But the funny part is I talked to a friend of mine like about a week after that. And she said, oh, well, I'm sure you've read Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss. And I had not ever heard of it. So I, of course, then went and got the book and started reading it. And I was like, my mind was further blown, because I had then confirmation of this is kind of how it goes. Like, very similar experiences were outlined in the book. Not that I had the same lives experiences, but that the process and kind of like how it might present itself. So it was fascinating to me to have that kind of confirmation of what I had just kind of been through. And I want to do it again, obviously, but
obviously. Dr. Brian Weiss is who I took classes from, and I actually did one of his like past life regression facilitator trainings.
Okay.
Mostly because I wanted to be the guinea pig in the room at every opportunity, because I'm like, my brain gets real brainy. So I was like, I want to be in the room with people who are serious about it. Couldn't access any of it. So I love that you, it seems to me the connection between the bending of material metal objects and being able to access the past life regressions, like a deep empathy and ability to not like mind block. And I'm like, that seems like the common thread.
Well, and I think there's just, for me, I've noticed that if I just don't have any expectation, like I just walk into something just open-minded, it seems to work itself out.
Particularly interesting coming from someone who is a highly successful practicing lawyer. That's just a fascinating path to get into. And I'm very open-minded, and I can do these things. So like this accomplished, engaged in community, mom, married, like all these things happen. How did we get to, and now you're also a coach?
Ooh, yes. So life and business coach. Yeah. Basically, I always had a good intuition about people, empathy, and kind of being able to read situations and rooms. And I got sick of working with people who were at the end of their life or planning for their death, because what I do is estate planning and special needs planning and elder law. And so I was getting to the point where it was grim and heavy. And I was like, wait a second, we're missing this whole stage of like how to live your life and how to grow in your life, rather than showing up at my doorstep and being like, well, I never did the things I wanted to do, and here's all I have to show for it. And this is the kind of stuff people said to me, still do. And I mean, I had a woman, who's in her 80s crying at my table about how she feels like her life meant nothing, and like all these things. And so I did not want to have only that experience with people. I love people. I love connecting. And so I kind of went down a path starting in like 2019, where I got interested in what can I do? Like what else can I do? And coaching kind of organically presented itself to me. And I ended up, after 2020 and the dumpster fire of all of that happened, I got involved in a coaching program, and it gave me a lot of light and perspective, and it rewired my brain. And so now I coach clients in life and business and help them live the richest life that they can in many ways. And I love that. And I love being accessible in the intuitive way as well to them. And so
I
it's
think it's
been
key.
such a
I think
gift.
it's such a key, and your gifts are such a key. And I think it's interesting because I fancy myself a mindset coach. At the same time, I'm like, there can be no effective mindset coaching if someone is disembodied, if someone is
Oh,
not
yeah.
to access their gifts and woo, or just otherwise access, like, wait, how do I feel right now?
Yeah. And I think there's a lot to be said about the connection of the metaphysical and belief and thought and energetic connection that as an entrepreneur or a business person, getting in touch with that
Mhm.
absolutely can amplify and accelerate your business.
Mhm.
Immeasurable. It's immeasurable. And I did it with businesses I built over the years. And so that was something that I was like, no, 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 this works. Going to the spiritual gym, reading,
Mhm.
practicing. I mean, it goes beyond coaching, but it's one of those where um, we create this life that
Yes.
we're living in. And that is clear from the guides, even telling me, like, no, no, these are your past lives and all of this is a reality. So I know that sounds out there for a lot of people, but
Not in this house.
if you
This
know,
is
you know.
that's it. Like I even think of, like, we met on Safari, but it's funny to me because sometimes people are like, you can't, Safari is not a business expense. You flying to South Africa for Safari. And I was like, oh no, it's definitely a business expense. As
Uh-huh.
in, like, it's this learning, and it's this the very first time I went on a game drive at Londolozi, which obviously you guys, that's where we met. The
Uh-huh.
very first game drive, I'm on the vehicle, and I don't know if it was the land or my ancestors, I'll never know. But the first thing that I heard, and it wasn't a human talking to me, said, if you'll just relax, we could work faster.
Well, then, yeah, yeah,
And they were like, we're just asking if you could just relax, we could work faster here. And I was like, okay.
yeah, yeah. And the message that I got as soon as I got there was like, you're home, we're one, which was the earth, I think, telling me like you are where you need to be. And this all is one. We are all one. And that is something that when I'm frustrated or trying to get through something mundane or what I would call 1D, 2D dimensional in
Mhm.
my life, I have to remember that because this is so much more. And so having that
Mm.
woo and metaphysical kind of fun. I mean, it's so fun.
It's so fun. And our time
So
is up, which kills me because I'm like, I want to talk more. You guys, this is why I'm doing Lucky 13. It's short, it's sweet. Annie, where's your favorite place for people to find you?
I'm
Like,
on Instagram, Annie KTW. I'm on Facebook, Annie Warner. And then AnnieKWarner.com is my website. And you can find all about me there as a life and business coach ready to help transform people's lives.
thank you for being a guest.
Thank you.